Okay, well, here we are. Welcome to Breaking Convention.
Welcome here, and first of all I want to say that for me this is a dream come true, honestly, that this is happening here today in Canterbury, in the spiritual capital of this country. So I don't want to take up much time because I am really only here to introduce you to the speaker that I have been privileged and lucky enough to find out there in this omnipresence. What I wanted to tell you about myself quickly is that before, in my pre-academic state, because I loved Stanislav Grof yesterday's talking about the prenatal state. In my pre-academic state, I was a voyager. I traveled by sea, by land, and I traveled to many countries, and I also did a lot of inner journeying with psychedelics, with dreaming, with all sorts of different modalities, dance, trance, food, love, sex. So today I am here because I wanted to change my hat and find another vessel to travel, because in my voyagings, inner and outer, I have found that humans want to share. They want to learn and they want to share, and that is what connects us. So I chose my vessel to be academia at the moment, and I have been traveling to meet one particular plant, which is the herb, ganja, cannabis. I came to this vessel because I wanted to learn, and I realized that I personally, as a sensual anthropologist, as a plant person, I can only learn if I immerse myself into the matter. So I did the little solve et coagula thing on myself after a lot of painful moments in academia and presentation preparations. And I've decided that I just have to listen to what is calling me. And I felt being called by the herb. And I met Aima Bruck, who is sitting down there in London. And he introduced me to Ras Binghi Congo-Nyah, who, as soon as I met him, basically opened his sharing home, his sharing mind, and his sharing heart. And he allowed me to hear the herb speak. So therefore, because time is limited and precious, and because we are all here to hear the herb, I would like to turn this over to you, Blessed.
Good thanks, greetings, blessings,
Yes.
peace to all of you, everyone. Give thanks, is here to make the herbs speak. We give thanks to Rastafari, I. Is everyone all right? Doing blessed? Balance up, all right, heavens. Yes, we give thanks for this day, where them say science meets the heights of spirituality. You know, we was one in the beginning anyway. It's only certain thinking that got us a bit separated. Right? I will try to blaze through quick, and then if the item have any questions, you can ask I. I will mention I a lot because in spirituality, you know, we don't see everyone as oneness. So I is the I is the I is I. You know, it's just I and I. See? Alright. Oh, you click through this thing, you know. Alright. Yeah, it's scrolling things. Herbs. Well, herbs is one of the things I and I. Herbs speak through I and I all the time. So the I them have any questions to the herbs, you can ask I and I. See? You know, this is speaking about the herbs is a part of I and I, you know, levity, I and I quest. Well, it's Mother's Day, so I would mention my mother as well, which is my grandmother. She healed me with the herbs when I was young. I'm living proof that the herbs heal you. I'm living proof that the herbs take you to higher heights. I'm living proof of most of the things you say about herbs. So, you know, the herbs have a lot of knowledge and understanding and perspective to inspire within all. And Ras Binghi Congo-Nyah, you know, representing the herbs. I am a Brack, Lions Den Farm. It's a Sunday, Heru, red and white, spiritual, planetary color yellow. All right. Yes, I just said that, the herbs speaking. I'll speak a little bit about the mechanism of smoking herbs to get to the higher meditation, what kind of herbs to use, what's the, you know, the spiritual part, because we have three modes of existence. We have the spiritual, the mental, and the physical. I see you have the physical and some of the mental very accurately. And so give thanks for that. But the spiritual jigsaw puzzle can be put together as well. I mean, you lot of intellects, you can just read while I talk. These are just some of the things I was going to say about the herbs. Sometimes we stay in the subjective and do things rather than, because when you create an object, you know, you're creating resistance on earth. So sometimes the herbs like to sit back and everything happen anyway. If you know. All right. Spiritual, mental, medical herbs. Herbs is for healing, for meditation, and therapeutic reasons. I'm living proof of the three of them. All right, reasoning. Yeah, because I wanted to establish a few what's the definitions of certain language, just to make sure that we're speaking the same language. Sometimes we say consciousness, we say subconscious, psychedelic, we say, and I mean, some people have a different language, and in the Rastafari culture, we use certain words because we use the words that best explain a thing in not only in the facial terms, but also in the underlying structure, you know, within the atoms, even beyond that, the whole structure of things, the spiritual structure. So just keep reading as I go through, because when the herbs come, sometimes you have to just read. These are some of the thoughts I was thinking. Because ganja is a spiritual plant, and it can heal the world, and will heal the world. It's here to heal the world, bring the world back to consciousness. Yes. You know, Rastafari meaning of consciousness is, I and I is consciousness. You are consciousness. You know, the I is consciousness. That's what consciousness really is. You know, we are consciousness experiencing the world. Like, you might think the mind is inside of you, but you're inside of the mind. Consciousness is knowing yourself, indwelling intelligence. And if you probably reach all of that already, let's keep it moving. Same language, psychedelics, psychs, all of that stuff. So who's the psychology? Who's the psychologist? You know, because one interesting thing I found like when I researched before I come here a little bit, you know, is the meaning for psych. It's saying it's the human soul, mind, spirit. You see? So when you're talking about psychedelics and psychology, it's more or less a spiritual science. So you have to see spiritual people and you have to look on it from a spiritual perspective. I hope you can read quick, because I just want to keep moving to the mechanisms, you know. All right, let's go from the cultivation. Oh, hold on, this is jumping. Okay. All right, let's go to some cultivation. There's some fast-growing environments which you're going to get the fast results. libation to the ancestors, you have to acknowledge the spiritual world. Acknowledgement. Fast growing environments, lights and these things, that's not how you grow herbs. There's just some multitudes here. We deal with herbs on a natural level, ital farming. And the herbs man, he has a certain thing in his mind, when he's growing his herbs. It's the subconscious. It's what he's thinking in his mind that manifests through the herbs. And we can prove this. This is scientific fact. You have to have divinity. The man who grew it must have a divine self-image, Plant, there has to be a balance, seed, water, sound. Sound is very important for the growing and cultivation of these herbs. Obviously, the sun is there, light, energy. You need care, certain amount of care, which the herbs will tell you if you don't know. A lot of people in here, you know it, but care. Reap, divinity again, full circle. Proper way to grow herbs in the sunlight and these things. Herbs can be taken other ways. We used to drink the herbs. And, the manure you use for the herbs is some people use goat and rabbit manure. And the most strongest herb for higher meditation is when you grow it with rat bat mole. The mole from the rat caves, the rat. No fertilizer, the least fertilizer you use, the better. Now, cultivation is very important, even before me tell you the mechanism, because you might have the wrong thing in the kochi. You see me? Right? Anyway, I get cured by the asthma, by the herbs. When I was a youth, sick for many years, used all the medications within the institutes, terrible case of asthma. And, Mama, she never used to deal with the herbs, fight against the herb. And when the Rasta man said, give him some herbs, she never wanted to give me no herbs. Because she think that would be bad for me, negative, But, when I was really, really sick one day, and me say, she realized that, I could pass over to the other world. She decided to listen to the Rasta man and try the herbs. And we soak the herbs in something and bury it. And the first time I take it, me heal within the first few days. Imagine being sick for 6 years and then you just heal. So there's other ways to use the herb otherwise than smoking. But I'm talking about smoking. All right? Let's just get, when you're reaping the herbs, you reap the herbs, yes, you reap the herbs. The day when the man is going to reap the herbs, he restrain from sex. It's not like sexual thing is bad. It's just like an athlete before his race, a boxer before the day before, It's just a little bit more edge you have on the spiritual realm. And, a lady, she would be on a different, not her cycle and things. So, with respect, I just like God, the herbs require these spiritual aspects to be adhered in order to gain the proper understanding of the herbs. To hear the herbs speak very clearly. Otherwise, you hear things, And it enlightens your will, your choice. Because now you choose in accordance to how the Almighty chose. You choose in accordance to nature. All right, tools. Whoa. Now we get to the good part where the item wants it. Chalice, pipe. These are the kochi, as you can see, the hose. It's a coconut chalice because it's made out of coconut. In there goes the water. You need I, who is the herbalist, or you need someone who need the herbs, a patient, because the herbs turn up when you need it. Or someone who want to learn about life in this way, because there's different ways of getting a meditation, but smoking herbs get into ecstatic trance, which is a powerful way of communicating with the higher self. So you have the chalice, the water, preferably spring rainwater, not no chlorine water, we just, recycled from the Thames. Herbs, fire, and you need to give thanks, because you need to acknowledge that, you don't wake yourself up in the morning. You need to acknowledge that there's order within nature, like, for example, the sun is there, and the sun give you energy, and it soaks within your system without you even consciously doing anything. There's things that happen within you that are different forces other than your consciousness. Trance now. What is trance? Trance in the dictionary, yeah, the meaning in the dictionary is, okay, don't flip on the people and let the people get it. All right. So, trance, you just read that stuff. The Rasta man, yeah, your intellect, you can move very quickly. See? But the Rastafari now, we see trance as the meditation, the middle point between sleep and awake, between consciousness and the subconscious, between the subjective and the objective realm. It's there. You just need to bridge the gap and be there so that you can communicate with your dreams, your higher self, and your consciousness that's experiencing within the world. Okay, so it's a two-way connect, and this is what religion is about, should be, is retying, you know, like retying, reconnecting with your source, the consciousness and will that created all things. And I'm sure you get all of that right by now. Herbs is for our service. Everything here, we need to use it. That's why we're here. That's why we're so creative. All right, the thing what's going to happen when you blaze this chalice, you're going to go into a thing called ecstatic trance. There's other forms of trance, like medianistic trance, waking trance. Trance is like when you slow your breath down to below 7.5 breaths per minute. So like you're breathing in and out with it, deep breaths. And you should expand your breathing because the spirit is breath. That's why we share the same breath. We're all in here. It shows you that we're connected. You know, individuated experiences, but we're taking in the same air, and you know, so spirit, you want to expand your breathing from a little shallow breathing that you might now be breathing like 500 mils. You can actually breathe a little bit more, and it heightens your head a little bit more. But when you're smoking the herbs and the chalice now, you go into a very powerful trance, which is ecstatic trance. So herbs is an accurate tool finding self. Herbs serve, asthmatic, as we spoke about. Herbs induces ecstatic trance, which is what we're talking about. It's a calibration tool for Rastaman to make him whole amidst, get him into that place where he needs to be, where he knows that he hears the herbs speak. Because he's followed all of the orders, because earth has laws. You don't just jump out of a building because you know gravity is going to take you. So you have to obey the law of the earth. So if the herbs mean to be grown a certain way to get the higher meditation, you grow the herbs a certain way. And if it needs to be smoked a certain way, smoke it a certain way. Give thanks to the herbs. All right. Few warnings. It's not all people supposed to smoke herbs. You'll know yourself, yeah? It's not everyone supposed to smoke herb, and it's not every Rastaman you see smoke herbs. No, children have to smoke herbs. Children are not supposed to smoke herbs. They're not ready for this. Not yet. Right? And another warning is that people are get arrested for smoking herbs. As you know. Okay. Yeah, you should smoke the herbs from the Rastaman. Yes, who know what he's talking about. Smoke herb that's grown naturally, without force. If you smoke herb that's grown with force, that's what you're going to try. That's what you're doing inside of your spirit too. It's not going to work. Don't mix herbs with other things. Just the herbs. People use grabber, which is a natural thing in Jamaica, which grown beside the herbs nowadays. But don't get it twisted. Herbs supposed to smoke natural. Right? And I know you're reading very fast, and we just keep it blazing. Herb smoking now, we'll get to the herbs. As I said, slowing down the breathing, the stilling of the heart, and the expanding of the consciousness. So you can realize more than what you're thinking at this very minute. You're thinking, everything that's in your head right now is consciousness. Everything you think you are, that's what your consciousness is. And you can expand that. So maybe you might be conscious of the seat you're sitting in, then you might be conscious that you're in every seat. You know? And what it is, there's many other trance, when you slow your breath down, you're there. Because usually when you find yourself daydreaming, your breath is stopped. That's your spirit naturally slowing down your breath so that you're there. But when you gain consciousness, you think you've lost it, but what you really should be doing is staying in that middle point to communicate. So the breath slowed down, smoke goes out, and he does that. And then the drum is playing, so his breath slowed down. He's there. Whatever he thinks now will be, you know. So Rastafari, lighting up the herb, the whole chalice, for the purpose of the journey to that higher place, overstanding, you know. See himself as a lion. He gains this perspective now that I and I is a divine beings. Rather than saying that we are human beings and man is just a man, because everything negative on the world is because we don't have a divine self-image of ourselves. Because you're made, if every religion in the world says that you're made in the likeness of the Almighty, then somehow they must define clearly to you what this likeness is. For example, if someone say you're like your father, they must say to you that you act like your father, or you speak like you have eyes like your father. Well, the likeness of us with the Almighty, which is our shared identity, is for the tree of life, you know, and we need to nurture and know what this is all about. And I mean, I won't long out the thing. I'll be here, can ask more questions, and I'll give a little space for the item, ask some questions. Herb smoking, so you have to have a balance. Water, divinity, spirit, fire, oxygen. Even the fire comes from the water, you know. Boom, herbs. You know, I made some notes about eggs and the Edo, but I'll leave it all at that. And see if there's any questions anyone want to ask. Sorry?
Would I be right in interpreting this as your use of herbs is essentially an aid to meditation?
Yes. But yeah, herbs is a aid to meditation. It's seen across many cultures across the world. Through India, you have like some people they call the holy men of India. They just they don't want no clothes because they can see everything clear. They don't even need nothing material because the herbs show you everything that you needed to know. So, and the purpose in life, you know, is to become a divine being. You know, we have to, when you find the real purpose in life through smoking the herbs, you know, because you can ask all the questions you want to ask. You want to know what you're here for, what's your purpose in life, which is, you know, more or less what everyone wants. Everyone have a desire for inner peace. Everyone have a desire for joy, self-reliance, infallible guidance. We share qualities, this is the shared identity which herb shows you. You know, for the initiate, some people come in at various stages of meditation. You will smoke the herbs, and then suddenly you can start, people come at different meditations. Like, for example, I'll show you. Someone will come and they will begin smoking the herbs and start to see, hold on a minute, something's not right here in this college. Where something's not right in the government system, because he starts understanding that people are going away from a natural way of thinking. They're using more the left side of the brain, which is words and just definitions. Like I have a whole heap of dictionary definitions of the ego and this and titles. And it's less right-sided brain, whereby you deal with images and a principle, whereby a story is told and you learn a principle from it, rather than just seeing the segregative, because the evil in man is segregative thinking. When you define things by the exterior and segregate yourself, you know, like, because religion teaches that some people are the chosen and the this and the that, but does the Almighty, Mother, Father, Supreme, Haile Selassie, Empress Menen really have favorites? You know, when you blaze the chalice, you see many things. So people can come in and they start smoking the herbs and they will they will reject certain things, start doing certain things, living a bit natural, and some of you blaze it and you keep going on a higher meditation and asking more questions. You can learn and you can actually see and experience the parts of the Almighty that no one can verbalize. No left side of the brain can understand. You experience it. That's why you have various forms of yoga, meditation, and these things. Smoking is not for everyone, but people can meditate just by sitting down. We did a workshop on a Friday where, we did a little meditation for calibration. It's just sitting down with your back straight, your hands on your knees, and just breathing in and out. You can even imagine you're smoking a chalice, because it's more about the air. Yeah, it's about the air, the respiratory system, and the air, the posture, and what you visualize, and if you meditate, you can communicate with your higher self as well without smoking. But the thing about smoking is the actual herb itself, when cultivated with the right heart, intention, and mind, it actually is like cheating, you would call it. But it's one of the main modes to get you there. It's really a powerful inducer of ecstatic trance. And ecstatic trance, all the yoga people will tell you, is one of the most highest forms of trance.
These sound very similar to the sadhus use.
That's what I'm saying. Many colleagues, the sadhus, they're exactly the same as what we do. Same. There's a ash or herb smoking culture all over the world in every single religion, and they are the holy man and the wise man. In Jamaica, where we experience everything the Rastaman has said from day one, smoking the herbs has been right. You see, because he doesn't deal with segregative thinking. He unifies things, and we need to, come before the herbs at the top. Anyone else before me? Keep going. Sorry, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
A few of my friends, their teenage children, about 14 or 15, have had what they call hot psychosis.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I just wondered, what age do you think is okay to start using them?
Well, children shouldn't smoke herbs, and the age now, I think right now, the parents, play a lot about that age. I feel until you're on your own, that's when you make that decision. You can't, if you're within the parents' realm, and the parents don't, till 21, you're not allowed to smoke herbs. And so herbs is a very respectful thing. It doesn't come up into your face. And so if the mother, like my mother, don't smoke herbs, but herbs heal me, so she have to respect it. But if she's the smoke, she can't stand it, then you can't smoke around her. It's a very respectful and dignitary thing. And also, one of the things about youngsters smoking herbs is the mix-up. That's why I had to talk about the cultivation, because the skunk is definitely killing people, like making people go mad. We have proof of that. Know people that they smoke the skunk and they get really strange behavior. And the next thing I say as well, those that have been in the mental health issues, have mental health issues, because the drug that they give you in these mental institutes is a psychological drug. You can't smoke the herbs with it, because then it's going to create something that I don't think no one knows about. It causes problems. So if they've taken the drugs from the mental health place, you can't smoke herbs, especially not around someone who understands the levels that the herbs can take you. So, if that answers you, I know.
Two questions. One, I wasn't sure if I heard you correctly, if you said bat or rat manure is preferable.
Oh, sorry. You see, it's bat, but because in Jamaica we call it rat bat. Yeah, because it looks like a rat. And
I stopped using herb and smoke now just the trichomes, hashish.
yes.
And I found that to be a very different effect on my consciousness, and I wonder what.
Yeah. Ashish now, you'd have to check the Sadhu people as we talk about. They're more the expert on that. You know, we are expert on the herbs grown, like the Jamaican herbs. Because, you know, as I'm saying, I know that you have different herbs, give you different meditation. And if you could see what I see, the scale of calibration is very sensitive. And you know, you need the right herbs. And if you want to listen to herbs speak, you know, there's certain herbs that you need. It has to be grown a certain way. But you still, because it's the same family and same friends, we still get good meditation from, you know, all things. You know, so, but the Ashish now, I'm not expert on that, but just herb speaking, you know.
Congo-Nyah, I would like to explain the divinity or the herb connected with the divinity to say,
Thank you. Yes, very important, because this is very important. If you didn't remind me of this, I'd have to come back up here. Sorry. Because now this is the problem. This is it now. When you go into this powerful trance, what are you gonna do? What are you going to program yourself? What you searching for? And the thing about Rastafari, what helped us in the greatest way was when we smoked these herbs, we saw the image of Haile Selassie and Empress Menen, a king, and we study everything about him and everything, and we embrace him, that image. Because what it is, when you go into a trance, you have to have an image to program yourself. If you're in a trance when you're watching the TV, so you're becoming the TV. Everyone reacts like the TV, you know, until you start to see someone who reacts different. Like say any one of the holy men you choose, or the stories of holy men. That's like the image you need inside of you. With Rastafari now, the divinity that we learned of through Haile Selassie and Empress Menen. And the call to Haile Selassie, Empress Menen, where we look on her and him as the Almighty, this image was able to inspire us, to program us, you know, in this high state of trance, smoking the herb, that we are divine beings, we are kings, you understand? We saw royalty within ourselves, so we became a royal nation, you know, a royal with impartiality. It's just divine justice, and we realize the truth, which is that everything is connected, interrelated, interdependent. You know, it's like everything is just like a reciprocal of all things. And so look, the image of Haile Selassie is what in trance helped Rastafari to heights, to the highest level. You know, what we eat, what we drink, everything come through looking at a picture of Haile Selassie, learning about Haile Selassie, everything, learning about our other ancestors as well, Marcus Garvey, Prince Emmanuel we never forget the foundation, and many of our ancestors. So you need, because you can't have people in trance and you're not visualizing correctly, because then you become powerfully something else. So that's why this is very important to be mentioned. And you need an example of what the spirit really needs, which is the spirit needs a resurrection. The divinity needs resurrecting within us. Because when we was born, divinity was held in potential. And we spend our life resurrecting that divinity. And you need an image, like for example, you need role models in order for the children to act a certain way. Everyone, we just take on personalities, and you know, we do what our father do or our mother do, or someone, or a pop idol or whatever. So children and everyone has been programmed by the TV and all kind of things every day. So now we have to choose certain images to program people, especially people in trance. With the Rastaman, this is all we need. This is what we use to gain everything that you're hearing today, and everything that we represent across the world. Bob Marley go across the world as a Rastaman smoking the big spliff, as you see on every poster. And he said Haile Selassie the first, you know, is the inspiration, and the herbs is the inspiration. And then you see his works and the message. And you know, I mean, you know everything about the good aspects of herbs in the communities and all these things. So you know. But from a Rastafari perspective, you know, we've helped to program that image, because now when you see that image of some of the people who deal with it on the highest level, manifesting good behavior, obviously they've tried to stigmatize it, but everyone in this room more or less is up for the overstanding of the goodness of herbs, socially as well. I didn't touch much therapeutic, but if you have a divine self-image, you know, the best therapy you could have is never to see no negative. And positive thinking is not only not thinking negative. Positive thinking is actually, the foundation of positive thinking is to see yourself as a divine being. And that's what springs all positive thoughts. Any more questions? That's it.
Sorry, I think, first of all, thank you very much.
Thank you.